The air in Terminal 4 was thick with the scent of jet fuel and the frantic energy of delayed travelers. Behind the sleek, brushed aluminum counter of Aero Global Airways, Sterling adjusted his bold red tie with a smirk that didn't reach his eyes. As a senior gate lead, Sterling viewed the airport not as a hub of connection, but as a kingdom where he held the power of no. He took a perverse pleasure in spotting passengers who looked out of place, using his position to belittle those he felt were beneath the airline's premium brand. Approaching the counter was Genevieve. She moved with a grace that was understated, dressed in a deep navy structured trench coat and a crisp white silk blouse. In her hand, she carried a yellow leather travel folio that held more than just a boarding pass. Genevieve was the chairperson of the Vanguard Travel Collective, a $950 million conglomerate that served as the primary lifeblood for Aero Global's international routes. She was traveling incognito to investigate a spike in passenger mistreatment, reports coming from the specific hub. The tension snapped when Genevieve stepped forward to inquire about a gate change. "Excuse me, sir," she began, her voice carrying the melodic, rhythmic lilt of her West African heritage. "Could you please confirm if the flight to London is still departing from B12? Sterling didn't even look at her boarding pass. Instead, he leaned over the counter, invading her space until his face was inches from hers. He let out a loud, theatrical sigh. "I'm sorry, what? I don't speak gibberish. If you want to fly on a world-class carrier, you need to learn to speak English properly, lady. Otherwise, move to the back of the line." "My English is perfectly clear, officer," Genevieve replied, her voice remaining a steady, deep navy anchor even as she stepped back defensively, her hands clutching her yellow folio to her chest. "I am simply asking for a gate confirmation." Sterling's aggression spiked at her refusal to be intimidated. He lunged across the high marble counter, his hand lashing out to violently swat the yellow folio from her grip. As she reached down to retrieve it, Sterling grabbed the lapel of her deep navy trench coat, physically jerking her toward the desk so hard her shoulder hit the plexiglass divider. "I told you to move. I'm the law at this gate, and I don't like your tone or your tribal accent. Get out of my face." The justice debt reached an astronomical level as the scene became a public spectacle. Sterling's subordinate, Roderick, wearing a bold red-trimmed vest, saw his lead's physical aggression and decided to join the hunt. Roderick stepped from behind the counter, grabbed Genevieve's yellow folio from the floor, and began ripping her white travel documents out one by one, tossing them into a nearby trash bin. "Maybe the trash collectors will understand your accent," Roderick mocked. The witnesses in the scene, a crowd of exhausted travelers, transformed into a unified wall of white and yellow energy. Killian, in a white linen shirt, and Iris, in a yellow summer dress, stood their ground. They didn't just watch. They moved in close, their phones raised like weapons, capturing every snarl on Sterling's unmasked face. The air was filled with the collective shame of the crowd as they documented the physical manhandling of a woman who was clearly trying to de-escalate. "Sterling," Genevieve said, her eyes locked on his with chilling, deep navy intensity as he kept a heavy, aggressive hand on her shoulder, physically pinning her against the luggage scale. "You have until midnight to realize that the accent you hate belongs to the woman who signs your airline's largest revenue check. I don't care if you're the Queen of Sheba. You're blacklisted." Sterling roared, delivering a final, aggressive shove to her shoulder that sent her stumbling toward the seats, completely unaware that Genevieve's folio contained a direct line to the Aero Global Board directors, and she was about to pull the plug. The terminal clock flickered to 11:59 p.m. Sterling was leaning against the counter, tossing Genevieve's passport between his hands like a toy. "Still here, Madam Accent? The clock is ticking. Where's that big cancellation you promised?" Genevieve didn't move from her seat. She simply tapped a command into her yellow encrypted tablet. "The justice debt is officially due, Sterling. Look at your screens." As the clock struck midnight, every monitor at Gate B12 and every terminal across the country suffused with a blinding flash of deep navy. The Aero Global logo was replaced by a massive, pulsing contract terminated warning. Sterling's computer began to beep a shrill, rhythmic alarm. His face, once smug, morphed into a mask of aggressive terror as he realized his login credentials had been wiped. The terminal intercom crackled with a voice that was cold, professional, and undeniably powerful. This is the board of directors. All Vanguard Travel Collective contracts are voided as of midnight. Grand Star Airlines is now insolvent. Genevieve stood up, smoothing her deep navy trench coat. She walked toward the counter, her presence filling the room. I told you, Sterling. The accent you mock belongs to the owner of the $950 million group that keeps your planes in the air. As of 1 minute ago, your airline no longer has a seat for me because I no longer have a contract with them. The power shift hit like a physical blow. The airline's EO, alerted by the system-wide shutdown, sprinted onto the concourse accompanied by 4 airport police officers in deep Navy uniforms. Sterling tried to maintain his bravado, reaching out to violently grab Genevieve's arm one last time. This is a trick. You're a fraud. He didn't get a second chance. The CEO himself lunged forward, grabbing Sterling by the bold red tie and physically wrenching his hand off Genevieve. You've ruined us. You and your bigotry just cost us everything, the CEO screamed. The witnesses in the scene, the white and yellow crowd led by Killian and Iris, erupted into a roar of approval. They surged forward, their phones inches from Sterling's face as he was pushed back against the counter by the police. Roderick, the accomplice, tried to hide behind a luggage cart, but a passenger in a yellow shirt blocked his path, recording his shame for the world to see. The humiliation was total. The police didn't just escort them out. They physically hoisted Sterling and Roderick by their belts and collars, dragging them to the terminal in front of hundreds of jeering travelers. Sterling's bold red tie was ripped and hanging loose as he was forced past the very foreign passengers he had spent years belittling. Genevieve picked up her yellow leather folio and her white silk documents from the bin where they had been tossed. She looked at the CEO, who was practically begging for a meeting. My accent hasn't changed, Genevieve said, her voice echoing in the silent terminal. But your airline has. It's gone. She turned and walked toward a waiting private jet, her deep navy silhouette a symbol of absolute victory. Behind her, the grand star signs flickered one last time and went dark forever.